Work session, Monday, April 8th, 3:30 p.m. And I'm gonna do a roll call before we start. Mr. Burson?
Present.
Mr. Pope?
Present.
Mr. Lucas?
Here.
Mr. Hendricks? Mr. President? Three. Chairman's here. Okay, I'm gonna ask, if you get up and say the prayer for us.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the day. We thank you, Father, for all the blessings of life you bestowed upon us. And we pray, Father, you continue the blessings on these men who control the government of our county. And we pray, Father, that you would guide them and when they make their decisions for the citizens of the county, that they always follow your word and guidance. Forgive us of our sins. In Jesus' name we pray. And amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No. On a guest speaker, we have, I'm gonna wait though till we get to the library on that thing, on the public library, which is C. We're gonna go on into the agenda items. The resolution of 2024-08, special election to fill vacancy for the District 4. And Scott, will you explain that, why we gotta do that?
Well, I think it might be best that I have the county attorney defer to her
Okay.
for more explanation.
If you would, please.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. As y'all are aware, former Commissioner Steve Barnard submitted his resignation for the purpose of qualifying to run as a candidate for probate judge here in Ware County. And so as a result of that, his post was vacant as of that date. And we, of course, have Mr. Sammy, who's Commissioner, who's been appointed to serve for the remainder of this year. But then, as we've done in the past, our research indicates that we will need to hold an election to fill that term. And so that's what you all have before you to consider, is just a resolution to notify the Board of Elections of that fact.
All right, y'all understand that? Is there any discussion on it? Anybody need to know anything?
For, I guess, the session or maybe explanation, Jennifer, now, this special election will be held at what time?
It is a bit confusing, and I'm gonna speak with our election supervisor and also with the probate judge, just to confirm before this evening's meeting. But we have had this happen in other counties where the way that it falls, you may have because you can only have a special election on certain dates of each given year, and it depends on whether it's an even year, an odd year, as to what those dates are. And so it's our belief that this year that date would fall the same time as the general election in November. And so you would actually have an election to fill the next term and then also to fill the remainder of this term. So we will, right now we're just declaring the post vacant, and then we're putting it before you all to notify the elections board of that. And then we will clarify as far as the election dates and all of those other issues.
Okay, so, okay, I understand that. So, hypothetically, if we had an election in November, someone qualified for the special election, they would only get to serve, what, 2 months?
It does seem illogical, but we have had it happen in other counties. I can think of one specifically when we filled the office of the sheriff in Berrien County, where we had both the election, the special election to fill the remainder of the term, and then the regular election to fill the next term, the next 4-year term, on the same day.
Okay, so that individual, they got one special election, they would only get to maybe, we probably won't have maybe one meeting maybe in November. And then in December, we may have one meeting. So they would have the distinction of being a commissioner for 2 meetings.
And it could be possible that the same person wins both elections and then just continues to serve.
Okay.
Is that it? I got
Yeah,
one question,
anything? Yeah, go ahead.
Madam Attorney. Do we have to go back through the qualification process and let people qualify and all that for the special election?
Yes, there will be a qualification period for that.
Now, does that include just the fulfillment of this term, or will that include the people that's already qualified for the starting in January?
It will, the new qualification period will be only for the special election, which would be filling the remainder of this term until December 31st of this year.
Okay, all right. That's all I got, John. You got anything, Commissioner?
Mr. Hendricks can qualify and run again for the balance of that term.
If we don't scare him off, should he so choose, then he certainly may.
Okay. Any more? Anything else on it?
That's it.
If not, we'll carry it over to the meeting. Okay? Okay, B is resolution 2024-09, Georgia Initiative for Community Housing. Now,
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, there's someone here that can speak to this item. I'm not sure where
Who?
they're sitting. Oh, there they are.
yeah, who wants to speak on that? Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good
Thank you for allowing us this time to talk.
Yeah.
My name is Kit Brinson. I'm a retired Episcopal priest. I was here at Grace for several years. And I got interested in being a downtown church. We got a lot of people coming through needing help and a lot of homeless people. And every time I felt so bad that I was like putting a Band-Aid on a gaping wound to help them out one day, and then, you know, they had no place to stay the next day. So I'm the chair of Georgia Initiative for Community Housing Committee. And I think you got some information about us. We applied for to be a part of the GET project. It's a three-year term, and in that we're meeting twice a year with folks from University of Georgia and all over the state, and learning about other opportunities. You know, being educated in the next step. So we applied last year, but we didn't have enough city and county support so we didn't make the cut. That's why we're appearing today, because we need for the committee to happen, to be able to go to the two retreats. They're usually in Athens, and they're 2 or 3 days, so it's gas and housing. So we're asking $5,000 from y'all to help us out with that, and a letter of support too that can go in our application.
Okay.
The resolution that you got has a lot of things spelled out that we would be able to do if we got the GET grant. And we were told by several people that once we are officially in the GETS program, that developers will seek us out because of having that GETS on our application, then they'll seek us out to build here in Waycross and Ware County.
What would be the expected participation by the Ware County Commission other than the $5,000 grant?
Well, any kind of support that you would like to give, I guess. We're still working on that. But the application this year is due the end of July. So we're trying to get our ducks in a row.
Come on up, Mr. Taft. Come on up, Mr. Taft.
And if I may, for those who don't know me, my name is Kenneth Taft, and I'm also a member of the committee. You should have a paper like this in your packets. This is kind of an executive summary of what the GET program is all about. And on the back page of that, you'll have a list of the current members of the committee. Commissioner Burris is one of our committee members, so He has already participated in some of our meetings to this point. This program is actually, it's required that the local government be the applicant. So the city and the county would be working together as joint applicants for this program. And as you can see, the committee is composed of members of the county, as well as the city. We currently have James Schubert, the planning director for Ware County Planning and Codes. He has come to our meetings, as well as Teresa Young, the Human Resources Director. She also comes to those meetings. So it's already a joint effort by both the city and the county members. The thing that I want to point out, and the real importance of the GIC program, GIC communities are eligible for incentives to target development that are not available to every other community, right? So one of the things that GIC certification would provide to Waycross and Ware County is the ability to award, the GIC committee would be able to award a letter of support to a low-income housing tax credit project, or LIHTC. You may be familiar with that terminology. And the GIC committee would be able to offer a letter of support to a particular project in our community that would enhance the ability, the attractiveness, give them additional points on their application. In addition, the program would give Ware County and Waycross the ability to be exempt from the every other year for community development block grant programs. So we would be exempt from that requirement, meaning that we could apply every year instead of every other year. So like Ms. Brinson already mentioned, this is a 3-year program. There are only 5 communities in the state of Georgia that are selected for participation in this program each year, okay? So if we were admitted in this program and did this program for 3 years, at the end of that 3rd year, we would graduate from the program, and that's when we could qualify for all these incentives. So as it specifies, there is up to $50 million in potential funding that could come through having this certification. Now, previously, Waycross, the city of Waycross alone, had GIC certification. That certification lapsed basically because the committee fell dormant, which is why we're now having to apply for this program again, okay? So, this 3-year commitment for $5,000 a year, which is half the cost, projected cost for supplying the travel and lodging needs for the members of the committee, could return to Waycross Ware County up to $50 million in incentives. And this would be, again, particularly for workforce and affordable housing in our community. As you're aware, I'm sure, the Admaris Corporation that's looking to locate here, they are going to bring with them jobs that are going to need to be filled by workers, and we want those workers to find places to live in Waycross Ware County as opposed to our surrounding counties. And this initiative would help accomplish that.
So it's a 3-year commitment for 5 or 10?
3.
It's for the commission, we're asking for them to commit 5 per year. Waycross is also, we're asking them to.
For 5. That brings it to the 10.
And so that would be 10 per year total from both city and county together.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Ken, if you could elaborate just a little bit more about the aspect of the housing and the anticipated workforce whenever, what is it, Imus or whatever?
Admaris?
Amaris comes in, because right now, and I'm glad we got our development director here, the projection is maybe like, what, 1,600 jobs, I believe, something like that.
That's correct.
So we, at this point, we want to be proactive in our approach to being able to have available housing for these people, you know, that's going to be employed there. And one of the things I mentioned at the meeting the other day is that in the city of Waycross, we're kind of limited as far as land mass. But in the unincorporated areas, we got a lot of space out there that could maybe be ideal, you know, for creating subdivision or whatever, you know, out there. So, but like I said, this is where we got to start, and this kind of gives us a heads up right here.
That's right, and part of these, for instance, the CDBG grants could be used for infrastructure development to help create housing initiatives in the city or in the county. So it's really just a win-win, to be quite honest with you. It's a very low investment. The Georgia Department of Community Affairs, which is the part of the state government that creates the GIC program, they require that the applicants, which again have to be either city or county or joint city and county applications, they require that the local community pay for the cost of those travel and lodging. But that's it. The registration costs, the state picks up, that sort of stuff. So this is really a relatively low investment that could provide a substantial return on investment going forward.
One thing, Mr. Taft, if I may,
Yes.
they do not have to meet a low-income requirement to be affiliated with this program, do they?
Okay.
The reason I'm asking that, I know several businesses that we've got coming are gonna be paying good money, and they'll be over the criteria of like the government housing we have now.
Right, but this is not only low income, right? This is also workforce housing. So
Okay.
this would be for, and there's no particular project that's been set yet either. If you're, now, some of the programs that have been done this way in the past, for instance, are buildings like the Bund Building and the Ware Hotel. Those are projects that were funded through this. But this could be not just apartment or multifamily housing. This could also be single-family housing projects. This could be renovation of existing homes. This could be construction of new housing stock. There are a wide variety of housing opportunities. And again, just all we're doing right now is going through the program to get certified. Once we become certified, then we will actually be able to start awarding those letters for projects and reviewing project potentials. And it would be at that point that the committee would then decide, okay, which particular development do we want to award that letter to? We're not at that point as of yet.
And if we actually get there, what I'm hearing, if I'm hearing it correctly, is that's more jobs that this itself is gonna bring to Ware County.
Oh, certainly, right.
Because they're gonna have to
develop
renovate.
new housing stock. yes.
Right, so we're talking about extra jobs coming. So that's a good thing, I believe.
Yeah.
What's your recommendation, Mr. Burst?
Well, I think in view of the fact that right now we already got a housing shortage as it is, and if you get a company like this, whatever, I can't pronounce that name, from Switzerland, I think it is. But whatever, Finland, thank you. If they come in here with 1,600 jobs, the people got to have somewhere to stay. So I'd rather be proactive in our approach and try to be ready so whenever this time comes, that we can already at least be halfway and know kind of what we want to do.
So you think this will get the process started?
Yeah, I think it's very well. I think it's a real minimal investment for great returns.
I support you on that.
Yeah.
I support it.
And this is also, I mean, I know you probably are all like me. We see surrounding counties doing new subdivision developments and stuff like that, and it's been a while since we've seen that in Ware County. And so this would be an incentive that would allow these projects to be located in our county, so that hopefully we would have more people living and not just working in Ware County, because we're already the regional hub for our area. But unfortunately, we see a lot of those folks don't live here.
Can you mention?
And that also means we don't necessarily collect their property taxes. So,
Can you mention briefly about ADL, what they're doing over in ADL?
so ADEL is, I'm sure you're familiar with it, it's a community much smaller than ours. But they have just went through the program, and they are attracting new developments using these same incentive credits that we would be able to qualify for if we got accepted and completed this program. And their housing, you'll have to refresh my recollection specifically on Adel, because I didn't.
Yeah, you know, not the video, but where they had a little Zoom meeting
Right.
about what they were doing over there and how they had done a lot of things to try to increase the housing because they have industries around that area too, Valdosta and all those places.
So again, the type projects that this could cover are single-family housing, it could cover multifamily housing, it could cover infrastructure projects to develop the housing. It could include rehabilitation of existing housing stock so that, because we have a lot of that, right, in Ware County, that housing that's below what most people would want to have. And so the type projects that this could fund are a variety.
Right.
And I don't remember Adel's specific proposal, because when I was watching that video, I was paying more attention to the application process,
Right.
because that's where we are. Again, the selection of particular projects will come later. The committee will actually receive training on how to put together projects that are well suited for our particular community. That's the whole idea, is that these solutions are locally decided upon and locally approved to meet this particular needs of each community.
Right.
Adel's small, but they're different than us. We've got a wide industrial base and a large commercial base of operations. And so the training that is offered by this program will equip the committee to help make the decisions for what projects are best suited for our particular needs in Waycross, Ware County.
Has the city agreed to the joint application?
They have received essentially the same resolution that you have. It was submitted to them just today. The reason that we are on the agenda here today is because Teresa Young reached out. She's a member of our committee, and she let us know at our meeting, which was just last Monday, that you all were interested in hearing more from us and moving forward. And so we got to y'all first before we got to the city. So they have essentially the same resolution that you have before you, they are considering. And the mayor is a member of our committee, the manager is a member of our committee, and a city commissioner is also a member of the committee. And they all have spoke positively about participation in this program. So it is my expectation that the city of Waycross will approve the same resolution that is before you today. But they have not done so yet. Because it was just, the resolution itself was just sent to them and their city attorney this morning, so.
So we definitely appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any more?
Thank y'all.
Anything else on it?
You got anything, Mr. Sanders?
Mr. Chairman, I would just like to say that our Development Authority Director is very involved with it, and this is something he was been pushing, about whenever you get these industries coming in here. One of the first things a lot of them want to know is what's the housing availability. And sometimes that can be a game changer.
Mr. Jason, you got anything you want to add to that?
Just real briefly, Jason Rudmeyer with the Waycross Ware County Development Authority. So workforce housing is defined as taking the median household income for Ware County is right around $44,000 per year, taking 30% of that and determining what the true workforce housing would be, which is a maximum of about $1,100 a month that an employee would expect to pay for workforce housing. A lot of the available housing that we have super exceeds that by a large amount. So this program, along with some other grants that are available, once we get a housing needs analysis done for the city and the county, opens up a wide array of funding from the state that we can get to develop subdivisions for workforce housing within the city and the county. So we do have a huge shortage of workforce housing right now. We've got a lot of houses for sale, but our rental properties are, you can't hardly find anything to rent at all, and a lot of people are looking to rent. So this will open up that opportunity, plus build some more available workforce housing that they can afford.
You support it? I'll take it. You support it 100%?
I do.
Okay.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
Okay, is there any more on it? Anything else? Okay, we'll carry it over. We'll decide on it. Okay. Let's go to C, the Georgia Public Library Capital Outlay Grant Program, a local match required. Okay. And, Miss Erica, will you come up, please? Tell us.
Good afternoon, my name is Erica Stenbridge, I'm the library director at Okefenokee Regional Library System. At the last meeting, library renovations at the Waycross Ware County Public Library were brought up as a topic. So I wanted to give a brief update on the timeline of how this project came about. So the Georgia Public Library Service Capital Outlay Grant was applied for in September of 2019 by the previous library director, with a local county match projected as $206,828.57. The grant was awarded to the Waycross Ware County Public Library on September 1st, 2020, with an agreement being made between the Board of Regents of the University System of Georgia, Georgia Public Library Service, and the Okefenokee Regional Library System. At this time, concept drawings were made by Place Services Incorporated, completed September 30th, 2020. As we all know, 2020 was the year of the COVID-19 pandemic, which I'm sure was part of the reason the plans did not proceed as scheduled. The library system would now like to proceed with the plans. As a first step in doing this, the county manager, Mr. Scott Moye, and I met with Mr. Nathan Rawl, the Assistant Vice Chancellor of Planning and Programs at Georgia Public Library Service, last week to discuss continuing the renovation plans. The library still has a little over $1 million waiting to be used by July 31st, 2025, but we need a local match from the county. Mr. Moye let us know that the county spent $50,000 last year on a boiler for the library, so Mr. Raw at GPLS said he would be willing to subtract that from the local match amount, bringing the total from $206,828.57 to $156,828.57. I would ask you to please consider this match as a way to make needed updates on the Waycross Ware County Public Library, which was built in 1998, and I don't believe it's had many renovations or any renovations since then.
Okay. You didn't mention the $126,000 that would, but the roof and the boiler, which was both of them. Okay, we had the boiler and the roof.
Yeah, that was.
Was total
that was
126.
left out of our conversation.
Yeah,
The boiler was mentioned, and then we had the roof, I think was at like $72,400 to put the roof on there. And I was gonna get back in touch with Mr. Rawls and see if we could deduct
Okay.
that. So it leaves a match of about $80,000 that we would have to put in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the amount then we're talking about, 80,
About
80 something?
80,000, about 80,000.
$80,215.57.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What was that?
$80,215.57.
yeah,
Yep, that's what our match would be right now.
that's what I was thinking.
If they let us go with the roof in.
Right.
If they'll let us.
Yeah, we put the roof on it about a year ago, I think it was.
Right.
Okay, yeah, all right. Y'all have any questions on that?
So, Mr. Chairman, so Scott, based on your conversation with, I guess, the gentleman that's got holding the purse string, he pretty much leaned toward allowing us to deduct that from the match.
Yes, sir. He mentioned the, the boilers, new boiler that we put in, that it could be deducted from our local cash match. he wasn't made aware of the roof because I couldn't remember how much it was. But, I intend to ask him about that, if they can just lump that in, because we just put the roof on there. Yes, sir.
So we're gonna be optimistic and say he's gonna accept that too. And
That's
so
correct. Yes, sir.
Hopefully we'll have $80,000 what our match will be.
Is this contract, this renovation deal, is it still, good? You think it would still
It
be?
is the agreement, I have it with me.
Has it been updated?
He did say, and I will mention this, that, completion of the, renovations, improvements have to be done by June of 2025. So we got a little over a year to, yes,
So
sir.
we got time to.
Yeah, we have
do
time
that.
to get them
Okay,
done.
okay. That's all I have.
So
Anybody else?
the amount that y'all pay for like the design work and all, I know it may be some things that we may have to change on there. And, I think, Scott, didn't you say once we get everything solidified here that you can kind of work with them as far as?
Yes, sir.
the
Mr. Rawls mentioned that, because of how invoices are paid to contractors, if they have a net 30 on their payment, then once those invoices are turned in to be paid, if we take them and send them, usually scan them and email them up to his office, then he can have a check cut and sent right back to us. So we just use that money to pay it rather than us fronting the money up first and then getting reimbursed. So if we move quickly on the invoices, once they get signed off on, then we get that to the state and then they'll send a check our way.
One other question, Ms. Erica. So who will make the, I guess, suggestions, or when they have like a building committee to look at stuff? And I know we got Commissioner Lucas, he represents us, a group of people where they can kind of say, well, okay, these are some of the things we need to have done, because this is what this whole issue about things need to be getting done. So now's the time to get these things done.
We would have the county, of course, involved, and then I, as the director, would need to be involved, you know,
Right.
just for library specifications.
I would hope so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure our code department ought to be in
right.
yes.
Jane,
to see look over the full plan.
you'll be involved? Okay.
What do we need to do today, Scott?
Just basically, approve for the cash match to be committed, and then we can move forward and we can contact Mr. Rawls and tell him that it's been approved. I just need some official approval from the commission that we will match it based on the
We need to
difference.
guarantee that they'll get our share.
That's correct, yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Denver.
Thank you.
Okay,
Sounds good.
let's get it over. Okay, the bid award for the right-of-way mowing, D.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, this contracted work was bid during March, and we only had one bidder to submit a bid, K&A Moving LLC. It's our current contractor that does our right-of-way mowing for Ware County. There is an additive section to that bid, there were additive bid, and that was for cutting the vegetation overgrowth on the backside, if you will, of the ditches and such. But the commission just purchased two pieces of equipment that does basically the same thing. So we can handle that, I think, ourselves from that standpoint. Now, we probably won't be as fast if they were doing it too, but we have the equipment to do it for.
Okay.
What's this year's bid compared to last year's, do you know?
Difference of about $6,000.
That's all?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yep. And we actually, his bid was actually renewed for this current year, I guess you could say, or past year. And then we just renewed it at the same price. So this will be if this is approved tonight, this will be his third year.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Now, he's gonna trim that, for the additive bid, he'll do it for $179.
Yes, sir. And that's just one time a year.
That's for one path, one time.
One time, yes, sir.
If you trim it back. We got a lot of roads that are hanging over real bad.
Yep. I heard about one today, as a matter of fact,
Yep,
this
And that's
afternoon.
I do too, I hear it all the time.
That's why you bought those two pieces of equipment.
Yeah, do you think we could, get these roads too besides what we already got to mow? If we,
It's up to commission. I mean, you'll just get that much more done, and we can take our own equipment, and move into other areas. You have to keep in mind, Ware County, largest county in the state of Georgia, we have nearly,
How many-
600 miles of
Of
dirt road, and you got about 300 of, or a
Paved
little
road.
less than that
Yeah.
of paved road.
how many miles is he gonna do?
It's
right
179 miles, but you got both sides of the road, so you just double it.
there? He'll do 179 miles. Yeah.
At
That'd
one
be
time
both
a year, at 179,000, yes, sir.
Well, you won't cut them back but one time, probably every 5 years, really.
Yeah, if you cut it back far
one
enough,
time,
you're
it won't
looking
grow.
at, it's usually around 3 to 4 years, depending on how much rain you get and such.
Okay.
Chairman, I think that, in view of, like I say, the land mass of the county, and they've been doing a good job, we're pretty satisfied with what they're
Yes, sir.
doing.
Sure
And
have.
if they do the trim the overgrowth on the edge of the right of way, that'd be just one time a year, you say, Scott?
That's correct, yes, sir.
And, I guess we have to look at what it would cost us for us, we using our workforce to man hours and equipment and all that versus if they would do it while they already there,
Right. One of the aspects of this bid is litter removal. And as I was pointing out, you've got a lot of mileage there you've got to cover. And the way it goes is you pick it up one day and 2 days later, the litter's right back out there again. And so we also have an issue with prison detail, picking up litter and cleaning up, those kind of things. Well, there is a move now to end that, not just in the state of Georgia, but nationwide. So if that goes away, then you'll have to have the staff to go out there and pick that litter up. So it's probably gonna come down to contracting out litter control in certain areas.
When you say a move by the state to do away with what they.
Yeah, but it's because now we don't get that many. It used to be that we got 8 or 10 inmates in a detail. Now you've got 2, 3 to 4 roughly. They're just, the interest ain't there. There's a lot of liability concerned with it, price increases, and also rights of the inmates of certain things they can do and they can't do and that sort of thing.
So what's your recommendation on the additive bid? Take it or leave it?
Well, it's really up to commission as far as that's concerned. I mean, you get more done, then we can move our equipment into other areas and try to cover more ground, only because Ware County's so large. And we have a lot of roads, not just dirt roads, but paved roads, highways, county highways and such, that we have to maintain.
Let me ask you, how is the, mowing coming with the 2 mowers that we bought? Are they getting a lot done every day, or?
Yes, sir. Last time I talked with Michael, I don't know if Michael's here or not, but last time I did speak to him about it, they were moving forward and trying to get a lot of it done. But there again, it's a lot of areas to hit with those 2 mowers.
He won't get over it in a year, probably.
Probably not. I don't know that you could do that and do it the right way.
Okay.
Do we have employees running them 2 tractors every day on an
Yes, sir.
8-hour shift?
When they're here, yes, sir.
Okay.
So it's added a bid, which will bring up to 372, is that pretty much budget for that now, or?
Well, we budgeted only for litter control and just mowing in the right of way areas on the front side of the ditch, or the front slope, in other words. But that would be an added to go back all the way to the right of way line.
So right now, our base bid is 193,320.
Yes, sir.
If we do the additive, it'll be 372.
Right, that's both of them together.
Have we got 372?
As part of maintenance, you can take this, we can add some of it, what I was thinking earlier is we could add some of that to the operational budget, your O&M, and then take part of the other part and pull that out of SPOS or out of regional T-SPOS because it's maintenance of the right of way.
So you can meet the contract if we do
Yes, sir.
320. I'm in favor of it, Mr. Chairman.
I agree.
I agree.
All right,
372, I'm
we'll
sorry.
carry it over there. Okay? Let's go to the E, Comprehensive Transportation Plan Consultant Professional Service Contract.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, we have a representative with Atlas Technical Consultants that's here.
Right.
I think he's in the back. Chris, I'm gonna ask him if he would to speak to this item.
This is our comprehensive plan that we voted on, right, get started.
Good afternoon, gentlemen, and everybody, staff, and public. We didn't get much of an eclipse here today, but I'm watching on the news feeds. I guess some people had a great view, some people had thunderstorms, so that's life. Real quickly, I could take hours to talk about this. We do these plans for multiple counties throughout the state. I'm one of, y'all might remember Atlas. We used to call Moreland Altabelli. Some of y'all remember Tom Moreland. These comprehensive plans, y'all had the last one was 2000, I think. It was 24 years old. Department of Community Affairs requires these. This is the vehicle that allows you to apply for state and federal funds. It's a long list of required items, but it boils down to 5 things. It's just real quick. We collect data, what's out there now. We analyze what's worked, what's not working. We look at what your future growth potential, land use, population. I'm talking about a big industry coming in. We factor all those policies, do a little crystal ball modeling, what's coming in the future, and we come up with 2 sets of recommendations. What you really need to do now, short term, and what you need to think about long term, 10, 15, 20 years. And then the 5th big item is how do we pay for it? Y'all have the T-Splash, y'all have regular revenue. So all those things roll into the plan. It takes about 9 months to 12 months, and our proposal, we want to do 2 things for you. The comprehensive transportation plan, and then concurrently, after we do the data collection, we're going to look at some bypass studies, traffic, moving truck traffic around the Ware County metro area, as you will. And part of the process, we have typically 3 public involvement meetings. After we get some of the data collection this summer, we'll be back down with a public meeting, let folks tell us what their comments and concerns were. We'd come back later in the fall with, present some of our early recommendations, and we'd come up with a draft report, probably toward the end of the year, have a 3rd public involvement meeting for that. And we would think we'd be asking the board to adopt the comprehensive transportation plan sometime in the first quarter of 2025. About 9 months, 12 months time period.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Does this study, and I haven't, it's too much for me to read right now, but does this include the incorporated area of Ware
Correct.
County?
We're doing the whole county, board of the board. It's hard to pull out
Right.
an unincorporated area.
Have we heard from the city commission if they're gonna help pay for this?
No, sir, I sent an email over to Duke and hadn't heard back, but he was gonna present that to the commission, for their response to that. But I hadn't heard back as of yet.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else?
Well, I like,
Go ahead.
like I said, I know it's long overdue, this, the comprehensive plan, what, 2000. And there's a lot of things that they mentioned in that plan then that we're having to deal with now, because we didn't
Didn't do it.
Didn't
do
follow through with it.
you know. And, so, like I said, we got to start being more proactive in our approach about stuff, because we can't wait till it happens to start doing something about it.
It's a long lead time. If you get federal aid, there's a lot of strings that come with it. You can't turn it down because they'll typically pay 80%, but
And I really like the part about it where you're gonna have community involvement, because when it all boils down, people that stay here and all, they should have some say-so and some input in as to how their community will be
one of
affected.
the first deliverables is we call a public involvement plan, and there's be a stakeholders committee of local officials and major business owners, and then obviously the citizens' participation at the special meetings.
Okay, any more?
My only question is, just for clarification, you will not be using any Ware County employees for any part of this, right?
Correct, other than asking people to help collect data. I mean, access to data that's already collected,
I mean, as far as getting out and laying out the electrical lines on the road to count the cars that come by and that.
No, that's all, we handle all the data collection,
Okay.
field work.
All right.
And a lot of that now is, we use satellite data and camera technology. We don't, it's kind of interesting, the little tube counters you used to see across the roads, kind of been superseded by the internet.
That's the old way, huh?
Yeah, we still do that occasionally because it's foolproof. Doesn't quit on a rainy day.
Now, under your recommendation, when you're through with this, and if we do what you say do, we won't have to wait on the train anymore, is that correct?
No. We wish it were, but planning's a great tool it's a double-edged sword. It highlights what you may not have done in the past, as you said, sir, but also without planning, you don't know where you're headed in the future. So we try to avoid repeating mistakes.
That would be my suggestion, is to study the trains as much as possible. How? I think we're probably the only county or city with 5 major tracks coming through it.
Believe it or not, the Atlanta metro area's got a similar problem, and there are some federal programs that are looking at grade crossing safety, the length of trains. Yeah, it's a big deal.
It is. We got sometimes 4 or 5 hours out on them. I mean, it's just unbelievable how they stop us. And we fighting that now. I think we need some overpass. And maybe your plan will come up with
I suspect that's
the
going to be a
right
lot
place to
of
put
money.
them, or if we can get the money to put them in there. That's one of my biggest concerns.
I understand.
Okay. Anybody else?
I was gonna mention, Mr. Chairman, that, in the past few years, DOT's starting to really concentrate on freight and logistics as far as improving it throughout the state. And Waycross, Ware County, is one of the concentration areas of trying to improve that, and it would tie into this plan only from the standpoint if there's federal money usually that can go along with improving that, then this plan would definitely help out, because they always want to know what the plan tells us and what it shows. In this case, you'll probably have a much better chance when you have the professional, the experts to evaluate those situations.
And I would tag on to Mr. Moore's comment. We also work for Georgia DOT on several contracts that involve railroad grade crossing safety. And I believe Waycross Ware area is one of the top 20 in the nation for concerns about grade crossing safety. It's a big deal.
Great.
Good timing.
Very good.
Yep.
He's got my number. Any questions? Give us a ring.
Yeah, one more on, now, let's see, where's okay, the comprehensive detailed south bypass corridor feasibility study for a fee of $50,000 as shown in the attached contract. So, do y'all know about that? We're gonna add that to it too. Is that,
That's on that bypass.
well, it's
It's a
What
detailed
are you
concept
doing?
report.
Will
That's
you
a great
explain
question.
that?
So the comprehensive plan will develop a lot of the data you need to look at alternatives that you would then be able to proceed to Georgia DOT with a concept report and look for that future funding. So they'll go concurrent. We'll work on both of them at the same time. So when the comprehensive transportation plan is done, one of the deliverables at the same time will be these concepts for bypass.
that we can't, DOT ain't gonna look at us unless we do this plan. I mean,
They
we
gotta go
do-
hand in hand, correct.
Well, we gotta have a plan.
One thing to think about, the previous commission, Scott and Brandon and I, we talked to Pierce County about being involved in a perimeter road, and also Brantley County. And if we're gonna do this corridor feasibility study, then Pierce and Brantley need to be brought into this study at some point.
The adjacent counties are part of that stakeholder when you get to that part of the plan.
Right.
Because you can't plan an island.
Yeah,
You can't. It's
we wanna
not
do
a good
ours.
idea.
okay.
Looking forward to it. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Look here, that number. All right, F, dirt road paving engineering proposal, statewide engineering.
Yep, Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
Commissioners, I gave you, in place of this proposal, another proposal to consider.
Statewide and Roberts,
Yeah, Roberts Engineering,
okay,
they have I say local office, they're based in, St. Simon's, and they have given us a lump sum price
Right.
that's very attractive, and I would suggest just alternating those two.
okay.
And that is for the roads, same roads, Brandon submitted that, same roads, Wadley Road, Pine Road, Banks Lane, and Elmer Thrift Road.
Okay.
So your recommendation is to use Roberts Engineering?
Yes, sir.
For both of them.
But for those 4 roads,
Just those 4 roads, yes, yes,
So
sir.
what about the
yeah,
other?
the other roads, he didn't.
It would
price them.
replace the one from statewide.
Okay, but, I
The other
mean,
one has another contract.
And the other, we have one behind this, another item, with, Hostetter and Associates.
Hostetter
And
and G.
it's a different 4 roads.
okay, I understand what I'm saying. Roberts gave us a price on these.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
What about the other 4 road, would they be willing to give a price on those 2?
We could, I mean, we could submit it and see what they give us, yes, sir.
I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes more.
The only reason we were trying to divide this is because of speed reasons. You have 2 different surveying crews, 2 different companies.
Right.
And, if you add 4, if you give someone 8, that's just much more time they gotta spend, but if you divide it up, then we probably could move faster on these and get it done. That's the reason, that was kind of the logic
Right,
behind
I
that.
understand when we say we're gonna use 2, but I still don't think it would hurt for us just to check and find
Yeah,
out.
we
from
could,
them,
well, we
you
could
know.
just see what the price would be for those, yes, sir.
okay. We got it under G,
Yes, right here, showing the other 4,
Uh,
Pascal,
Pascal
McDonald,
Road.
Cornelius, and Griffin.
Yeah, the,
Pascal, McDonald, Cornelius, and Griffin Road.
yes, sir, those are 4 there, Pascal, McDonald, Cornelius, and Griffin Road.
And that's under Hostetter.
Yes, sir.
What's his price?
His price is, if I get this, I believe it's 6% for design.
6%.
And then there's 3%, for, inspection and, administration, basically. So,
But we do that, won't we?
yes, sir. So
Well, we
you're
got an
basically looking at about
inspector,
6% of the construction cost.
Yeah.
Does they project the construction cost?
No.
I don't remember, I didn't see it in his email, and I didn't see it in part of the contract either. Not,
So does that need tabling so you can check with Roberts on this bunch of roads?
yeah, or, I can if the commission likes.
Cause he may give a good price
Yeah.
for both of them, all of them, you know, just.
Okay.
Yeah, the logic there was basically to try to get them,
Right.
done, get them designed, and so we can get them on the street.
Well, I tell you,
That's hourly
I
work.
think I can only speak for myself, but I hope our voice, sentiment,
Very quick.
of fellow commissioners, I'm just so glad,
This one over here.
just
All
elated
that
that we
hourly
making
work.
some progress in getting some of these dirt roads, because we've been talking about it and going back into. So I'm just ready for us to start showing some, you know, initiative and getting some of this stuff done, because we got people still on these dirt roads, and we're sitting here, we're just kinda going back into, but I think we pretty much found our footing right now.
Okay. All right. Any more on them?
I like the idea of speeding it up, like Mr. Manager has laid out in front of us. Having one company do 4 and another company do the other 4, and that way we can get it done quicker.
Yeah,
Right, I agree.
yeah, you put too much on
You know,
one.
you put too much
Well,
on
I
one
think he's
company,
pretty
they might get
reasonable.
bogged down.
Hostetter's about the same price, really.
One of the
Overall.
issues you got to think about is when you go to do these, you got right-of-ways involved.
Right,
And that's usually what slows it all down.
yeah.
Right.
So you need a couple working on it.
Yeah, if you have 2 going in tandem,
Okay.
you know, even if you had 3, you'll just bust them up that way so you can get them
Bust 'em up
done.
some more.
And once one package is done and you get the survey plats, then we can use those survey plats to start notifying
Yeah.
property owners.
Okay.
Okay,
I like it.
all right.
Whatever it takes to move forward, let's go with it.
Let's carry it over. All right. we got the dirt road for Hostetler, we're gonna look at it too. It's the same thing, so it's just a different bunch. Okay, let's go to H. Purchase request for brush truck for fire and rescue and ambulance for the EMS.
Yes, sir.
That's, we have some ARPA money for that.
Yes, sir. This
H.
was mentioned at the last meeting about, using, ARPA funds to purchase some of the capital equipment that's needed. Right now, we don't have access to SPOS because we're saving all the proceeds for the Albany Avenue overpass.
Yeah.
And so this will allow us to go ahead and place orders for these, trucks, which, the truck, I think, the brush truck would be about 4 months out, and the ambulance is pushing sometimes now about a year and a half.
Right.
And so if we get those and use the ARPA funds for that, then we can save the SPOS money on the back end.
Right.
And use it for other things, other equipment or paving roads or whatever, so.
Okay.
And this would allow us to get this on, get it moving. I don't know if the fire chief wants to mention about the brush truck, but we have one, that we bought the chassis and then moved all the equipment off the one that had the blown engine into the one that we have right now. And so that truck is out there ready to be used, but here again, going back to what I mentioned a few minutes ago, we have a large county, largest in the state of Georgia. And so this would allow us to put one brush truck on the north side at Station 1 and then station the other one over at Station 3 off of Vickers. And it would help to cover ground and be able to get to, it would save mileage on trucks and also be able to get to them quicker.
Okay. All right. Any questions on it?
Chief, you wanna add any to that, sir? Good?
I just got one thing, and maybe Chief, on the brush trucks, would it be fair to say that you use the brush trucks really more than you do the pumpers, I guess, or whatever, because of, like say, Scott has alluded to earlier about the land mass and the wooded areas, and the brush trucks give you, I guess, more.
We got a lot more accessibility with the brush truck
There you
than I
go.
do with engine. With the engine, I can't get down the side of railroad track as good as I can put that brush truck and go down the side. Out on the south side of town, going out the railroad tracks all the way to the Charlton County line, we have numerous calls throughout a year there, and it's just hard to get that engine out beside it.
Right.
And right now, I'm having to bring the brush truck from Station 1 all the way out there. This would allow us to be able to access the stuff a lot quicker with the same piece of equipment at Station 3 as at Station 1.
As I understand it, the engine, I think, what number, 1103? The Public Works Director just got repaired.
1105.
1105,
Yes, sir.
and that went to Night Avenue Station.
Yes, sir.
And you told me that all we needed, now that that engine was there, to have a full complement of equipment, would be a brush truck for Night Avenue.
Yeah, because we put, when they sent the truck off to Jacksonville, since we brought it back, we've had no trouble with it whatsoever, and it's their first out truck on that side of town, on the south side. So, yes, right now, our biggest need is another brush truck. And that would, so to speak, mirror a Station 3 is what's at Station 1.
One other question, since that's my home right there. There are trains stopped out there more and more.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a standing order to the captains that if they can't get across the track,
We call the city.
that they will call the city station?
Yes, sir. They know, all my captains have permission that if we can't gain access to anywhere and we're on a medical call, they don't have to call me to get permission to call and get the city coming. We're gonna get the closest fire station coming if we can't cross the track.
That's the big thing. I know about the trains in town, but
Yes, sir.
that is becoming more of a
And the
problem.
trains are getting slower on that side of town. When
Exactly.
they move, they're not moving at near the pace that they are on the other side of town. And they're getting longer on that side of town as they
Exactly.
are others. So therefore, sometimes we're having to try to catch which intersection it is so we can get across. But we do have an order where they can call the city if needed.
So that's a stated policy.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay, any more?
You can move it over.
All right. You got anything on that, Mr. Bush?
No, I think good that we try to provide all the protection we can for our citizens.
Yep, okay. All right, we'll carry that one over. Now, survey proposal. Survey proposal for drainage easement.
What about the ambulances?
What about the ambulance?
Ambulance,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, okay, what on the ambulance, Scott? You got a,
Yes, sir. With the price of the ambulance is identical to the one we previously ordered. The total price of it on the state contract is $383,587.48. A large part of that cost is the equipment that goes in these ambulances. It's part of the packet that I gave you in your agenda item.
And that's completely decked out.
Yeah, that's the whole
The whole
truck.
shebang.
Yes, sir. The ambulance itself, the chassis is a Ford F-550, and it's roughly about $260,000, and the difference is the equipment, the body and such. Yes, sir.
okay,
We have one, I asked, I don't know if Dr. Parham's here or not. I don't know
Dr.
that he
Bill?
is. I think he'll be here for the meeting, but we have one that's an old International, still can be used, but we've got it on the surplus list to bring to you all. So once we purchase this, that we can, remove one of our old ones and surplus it out.
okay.
And I was also gonna mention too, one of the pages in your packet there, the little small part at the top of the page, shows the mileage of our vehicles, or our trucks. And they're getting some mileage on them, so, they basically stay running at all times on the road.
Yeah,
So what's the total cost of the ambulance?
383, let me go back to about 383 and something. Yeah, $383,587.48.
Thank you.
That's the whole package.
okay. The brush truck and the ambulance is gonna run us about,
Yeah, they're separate items,
yeah.
but just they're in one agenda item. I just put them together.
All this can come out of the ARPA
ARPA,
money.
yes, sir.
Okay,
A little over $500,000. A little over $500,000.
$500,000.
A little better.
And
Okay.
one thing, Scott, whenever okay, on the ambulance, specifically, about the time when that ambulance coming, we have to take delivery of, that's when we basically pay for it, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Some of the splash money probably be loosened up then, where we could use some of that.
You could, yes, sir. There's a delay there, yes, sir. And it was at one time, some years ago, we were rotating, about every 2 years, we would order one, because it takes about a year and a half to get
Right.
it. So that way, you always had, after about every 2 to 2.5 years, you're getting a new one in, replacing the old ones, and moving them out.
Okay.
Scott, we had talked at one time about about a bucket truck, clean out these pipes.
Yes, sir. That was the grapple truck? that you-
Yeah, I know it's not on here, but, we need to think about that a little bit.
Come on, clean up sewer pipes,
Yeah, and clean out
clean
these ditches, these old tires and stuff.
Does the city still have theirs?
City's got two.
They got boom trucks they use with clamshell to pick up, household yard debris. I know they have that, but I don't know that they have a actual grapple, but I do know they have the clam
Yeah,
head.
okay, we'll talk about that then. Okay, any more on the truck and the ambulance?
No.
That ought to carry it over. All right, now, survey proposal for drainage easement. That's, over there off of Griffin Road. They want, a guy has offered to give us the right of way to do a drainage through there. And, what was his name? Christopher Heacock.
Yes, sir, the one on Griffin Road.
I looked at that and, well, we had a lot of complaints over there, of water in them, around them houses and all. And if we do a canal across there, some kind of ditch, it'd pull that water down. If y'all interested in it, if you ain't. Tomlin statewide, they gave a price on it.
Looks like Tomlin's price is better.
Plot drain, yeah,
Mr. Chairman,
yes, sir.
on
Go-
that,
Go ahead.
on that easement, I think, didn't one time we kind of talk about that, and, there was a couple of things that come up. First of all, this was like going over through private property, right?
Right.
And the next thing was dealing with the wetlands issue. That-
Well, you're right, Leonard. I don't know that we can do this without, if EPA says we can't, we may not can do it.
Yeah, it seemed like to me that's what the last time we talked about it, there was something
I
about
don't
that.
know,
and-
Brandon,
And then, going across, private property, and I guess setting the precedent, hey, if we do it here, somebody else they're gonna say, hey, me too, I want.
well,
come on
if
here
you
and
go
get
across
mine.
private property though with an easement, we go across private property all the time with easements. We have to have an easement to do it.
Right.
That's what we was asking for, was an easement. And, but if EPA will let us, did y'all find that out?
No, that was one of the things, Brandon's out sick today, by the way, but, he was gonna check into that with them and see what permits we would need from them to be able to do that,
Okay,
yeah.
Looks to me like we need to get clearance from, Corps of Engineers and whoever else, DPD and everybody else before this
Yeah.
is done.
you can get an easement, but you still have to find out if it's okay with EPA.
Because I think, wasn't it the Rainier that had some land adjacent to that property that,
Ran there on some of it.
right, that was concerned about.
It would help out though, cause we're fitting to grade, we're fitting to pave Griffin Road. That would help some drainage for that road too,
Yeah,
if we was able to do it.
it needs a ditch across there, bad. Okay. Anything else? All right, we'll carry it over. Appointment for the Ware County Recreation Advisory Board.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, this was put on there, it was mentioned at last meeting about,
Yeah.
reactivating that advisory board. It just somewhat fell apart, so to speak, when COVID happened, and no one was really meeting in person anyway, so, this is put on here for consideration to find out if there's any that you want to nominate for that board. I've also included a list in the back, behind the summary sheet. There's 3 that actually have their term to expire at the end of this calendar year.
So what you want us to do, give his name? How you gonna handle it?
Nominations primarily, and then you all would have to vote to have someone put on there, not unless you want to put the names out and see if they want to volunteer, and then we can put it on the next meeting to vote on.
I have a couple of names, that people that have sent the bios and, agreed to serve. And, like I said, I know it's not comprised of 7 members?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and we already have, I think, maybe a potential 3 already on there?
3, yes, sir. If they'll agree to continue to serve until their term ends, which is at the end of this calendar year.
Okay, we got our director back there, maybe he can kind of enlighten us just a little bit as far as the people that's on there before this, advisory board was, I guess, became inactive. to find out if these, some of the ones on here wanna stay?
Yes, sir. Greetings, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners.
Okay.
Okay.
Ask a question over good work.
Okay, what I want to find out, of these 7 members that's here now, how many of them have agreed that they would like to continue to be on the advisory board?
2 that I know of,
2, okay.
Ms. Tanner and Mr. Cheatham. Their terms have not expired. The other person, a term that has not expired, when I activated the meetings, they never showed up to the meeting.
Okay. So,
that one person just, they take the seat by virtue by not showing up to the meetings.
okay, so we would need 5 people.
We would then need 5 people.
Okay.
Okay.
And one thing, Mr. Chairman, I hope that we very clear that this is an advisory board, not a board of directors. They're there to help to advise the director and his staff, you know, of things out there. Because my understanding is a lot of these boards, they kind of get out their lane and start thinking that they can pretty much call the shots out there when they really in a advisory capacity.
Absolutely.
Can we turn in our names to you and some of the staff, contact all the
Yes,
names
sir.
that we have and see if they're willing to serve?
We could do that, then we could bring it back and tell you which ones would like to serve, and then you can vote on that at the next meeting.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
We got 2 of them that'll stay then, and so we need 5 more.
We need 5 more.
Y'all come up
Yes,
with
sir.
5 more names. Because every time something comes up about this recreation, it seems like 1 or 2 wants to jump on it and tell you what to do with it. I want to hear from the board, somebody tell you a little bit about it. Okay. All right, county manager report.
I don't have anything to add, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, commission comment?
I don't.
You got any?
Your son?
No, sir. You got any, Mr. Burson?
The only thing I'd just like to encourage everyone to just keep our country in prayer, keep this world in prayer, you know, different things that's happening in our world now, just atrocities and, you know, things that almost seem like something are moving, but it's actually happening. So we need to try to keep those people in prayer, because it's not happening to us now, but you don't ever know when it could gravitate this way. So we need to always just keep that in mind, you know, because we're really blessed on this side here. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. I get the most calls on these ag roads. I don't know what's the problem with our road system, and we can't grade them and work our dirt roads a little better than we do. I don't know what this problem is, but I bet I got 5 calls this morning. I mean, they say they can't get down their roads. It's just all kind of complaints. So, I know our superintendent has turned in his resignation. Have we got another one in mind, or what are we gonna do? We have got to do something about this county.
Yeah, we started advertising right at, I think the very next day. So far, we've gotten 4 applications.
4?
Yes, sir.
When is advertising in?
We typically probably run it for at least 30 days.
30?
Yeah, it depends on what sort of interest you get.
Leonard and I went down some roads over there. It was in a mess the other day, and we know some of it needs some attention, and we think that with the right kind of leadership, it could be done instead of everybody complaining all the time. That's all I got.
When do we expect to hire somebody for that position?
Soon as possible. Michael's last day is April the 19th, and that's a Friday, so we need to get somebody, locate somebody that can definitely do it.
Okay.
Yeah, anybody in mind?
And you know,
I
Chairman,
think
you mentioned about
what applicants I've seen, I've seen some pretty good applicants already. in my opinion.
You know, Chairman, he mentioned about, roads, and he had been asking me different times, you know, about maybe getting out and riding, and looked like my schedule wouldn't allow me, but this particular time I was able to go out, and I'm glad I did to see, because it's one thing to look at something when we get papers and pictures and all that, but it's another thing when you physically go out and look at these roads and the different things that's happening in these roads. So, as they said, we got a lot of things we got to do, but you know, we pretty much limited, not so much in resource, but in manpower also. And that's one of the things, we got the designation being the largest county and land mass in the state of Georgia, but we also got the largest amount of dirt roads and problems too. So we just have to try to deal with it as we can, you know.
Yeah, we got a beaver problem, and
Yes.
and I think every one of our pipes is stopped up, and no maintenance on any of the pipes that's under these county roads. There is none. It hadn't been for several years now. We gotta do something about it. And it looks bad on the commission up here, because we've been letting that go on. And I've been preaching about it, but it ain't been getting done.
Can I ask you a question, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
You having the expertise in, you know, road building and sewer and all this kind of stuff, what kind of suggestion would you make if you were sitting out there to this commission as to how we could alleviate this problem, or how we could get a handle on it?
If I was a road superintendent, I'd have me some crews out there cleaning out them pipes, what I'd do. I'd have me some men working, instead of all riding around in a pickup truck with the windows spooled up. You know, I see that all the time. Everybody got a new pickup truck and they're riding around with the windows spooled up. They get them a shovel and stop at them pipes and clean them out.
They gotta have a shovel on the truck to do
Yeah, they
that.
gotta have a shovel too. I mean, we do it as a contractor, we have to work. Some of these people ain't working.
I know I shouldn't ask that question.
How'd you start this, man?
You're asking the man who's got more experience than anybody in the county. He's got more experience than anybody in it. I do have one thing, Mr.
There's
Chairman.
no ditch that I would send anybody in it, I wouldn't go in myself. I'll go in it and dip it out my home self. And I expect him to follow me. If he don't, I'd fire him on the spot.
I do have one thing, Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Go ahead.
I believe there were several people here that was here last time when I introduced Jabari George for winning 2 state titles back to back. He won it in wrestling, then he turned around and he won it in weightlifting 3 weeks later. Well, this past weekend, he just went off with about 8, 9 other Ware County, Pierce County, Brantley County wrestling kids. And Jabari actually finished 4th in the nation. And it's the first time Ware County has ever had a national qualifier in any sport, much less the hardest sport out there, in my opinion, which is wrestling, because it's one-on-one. And his second match in, he beat the guy that was number 2 in the country from North Carolina, the state of North Carolina. He was number 2 in the country, and he pinned him in the second round, second period. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask the commission if I could honor him again with this national recognition. He received a pretty big accolade, and I believe it's prestigious. I believe he represented Ware County well. And not only is he the first 2-time state champion in 2 different individual events, now he is a All-American straight out of high school, which is very rare to say the least, and he finished 4th in the nation. Not the state of Georgia, but the entire country. So Jabari has represented Ware County well.
That's good.
And I wanted to announce that because that's very pleasing to me.
That's great. Okay.
That's good, Kevin.
Good. All right, any more? I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved,
Come
Mr.
on,
Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned.
And I would like to
Okay.
appoint you to that position.
We'll come back here.
I'd like to appoint you to that position.
call this meeting over. This is our 5 o'clock regular meeting. Okay. We've had we don't have a guest speaker. Yeah, we do. We have one guest speaker, Miss Virginia Pigler. Proclamation to declare April as Child Abuse Prevention Month. If she come up, please.
What about the approval of the agenda, Mr. Chairman?
Oh, yeah. Excuse me, I skipped over something. I need to approve our agenda. Let me back up and do that, and then I'll get with you. Okay. I hear a motion to approve the agenda.
To do roll call.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Let's vote on it. Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Pope? Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Hendrick? And the chair votes aye. Okay. Now, we have a guest speaker. Would you come up, please? Okay. All right. Bring them up. There.
Thank you for having me. I'm Tess Aldridge. I'm the Executive Director of Satilla Advocacy Services, and we are your local child advocacy center and sexual assault center. And we've been supporting survivors for almost 30 years in our 6-county judicial circuit. And in addition to providing much needed services for our children and adults and families, we also offer prevention education in our school systems, and in order to provide adults and children with a voice and to know what abuse is and be able to help prevent it. But we know that awareness is key to preventing abuse and bringing communities together, just like we are here today. And so we just want to say thank you so much to the commissioners for recognizing April as Child Abuse Prevention Month and working with our communities to protect the most vulnerable of our population, which is our children. So we want to thank you and also our partners that we work with, law enforcement and DFACS, and our other partners that are here today.
Okay. Thank you, Ted.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I've asked the county attorney if she would read the proclamation,
Okay.
put on record.
All right.
Proclamation in observance of Child Abuse Prevention Month. Whereas over 3.6 million cases of child abuse are reported every year in the U.S., and in 2021, 106,948 cases of abuse and neglect of children were reported in Georgia. Of those cases, 9,843 children had confirmed cases of abuse or neglect, and about 38,806 children received some type of intervention, such as family support services. Whereas child abuse and neglect is a serious problem affecting every segment of our community, and finding solutions requires input and action for everyone, and whereas our children are our most valuable resources and will shape the future of Waycross and Ware County, whereas child abuse can have long-term psychological, emotional, and physical effects that have lasting consequences for victims of abuse, and whereas protective factors are conditions that reduce or eliminate risk and promote the social, emotional, and developmental well-being of children. And whereas effective child abuse prevention activities succeeded because of the partnerships created between child welfare professionals, education, health, community, and faith-based organizations, businesses, law enforcement agencies, and families. And whereas communities must make every effort to promote programs and activities that create strong and thriving children and families. And whereas we acknowledge that we must work together as a community to increase awareness about child abuse and contribute to promote the social and emotional well-being of children and families in a safe, stable, and nurturing environment. And whereas prevention remains the best defense for our children and families. Now, therefore, we, the Mayor of the City of Waycross and Chairman of the Ware County Commission, do hereby proclaim April 2024 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Waycross, and urge all citizens to recognize this month by dedicating ourselves to promote the safety and well-being of all children and families, and to recognize the child welfare workforce and allies who work tirelessly to protect our children, and we honor the strength and resilience of adult survivors of child abuse.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, can I get you
Any more?
to sign this proclamation? While we're doing this, in case they like to.
Okay.
Right there on top of the line.
Okay, yeah, 'cause that's right.
Okay, thank you. Is there any more comment on it from the commission? I think this is a good thing. Okay.
Scott, do we need to vote to adopt this proclamation, or we just?
I don't think so. Do you think?
Do-
As far as a consent?
If you all would like to take a
Yeah.
motion just to formalize it, let's do that.
So we don't have to have a vote on it?
Let's take a
Let's
vote
take a
just so
vote.
then we can formalize it and have it for the minutes.
Okay, we do want to have one, okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt a proclamation to declare April as Child Abuse Prevention Month as read by our county attorney.
Second, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
got a motion and a second. Got anything anybody want to add to it?
I think it's great and wonderful, and I applaud the people. I've done it for many years, and I applaud all the first responders now, and I applaud the parents that stand behind their kids and the parents that do not question their children and what did they do to cause it, and actually stand behind their children and believe in their children. So I like to recognize the parents that do that as well. And I just can't say enough with the first responders, because like I say, I was there, and I take pride in saying I put many a person in prison for many a year. I mean, this is something, and I think y'all heard me say it several times before, I'm a dying breed. What I mean by that is I've lived longer than I'm gonna live. So if I can't leave this place better than I found it, better than I inherited it, then what am I doing here? And that's the way I try to live my life. I believe that's the way the good Lord tried to live his, and that's the way I'm trying to live mine. I'm trying to leave it a little bit better than I found it. And I could talk all day on this subject, but I'll stop there. But I just appreciate everybody that's involved. I appreciate all y'all, Ms. Tess, everybody. I appreciate everything y'all do continuously on a day in, day out, and nightly. Y'all do go above and beyond. And I appreciate everything y'all do.
Thank y'all for working on it. Any more?
The child abuse prevention has been a long-range, long-term project of the National Exchange Club and the White Cross Exchange Club, which Ms. Pegler and I are members of. So this is a good thing, particularly working with the group that carries this forward. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all very much. All right. We got a motion and a second. Let's vote on it. Mr. Burson?
Aye.
Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Hendrick? Aye. Chair votes aye. Okay. Recognition of retirement. Ware County Fire Rescue, Steve Lovett, chaplain. And, come on up.
Chairman and Commission, I want to come this afternoon and recognize somebody that was been a very important figure in the fire service and EMS, which has been Steve Lovett, our chaplain. And Steve's hanging it up as far as coming out and doing things with us on a regular basis. He's done it for 42 years. And I met Steve when I was at the city, and he was chaplain there, and he was at the county. And Chairman Brown, which was then the fire chief, had Steve put to work a long time ago. And it's a rarity that you find someone that'll stick out to something for 42 years. And so I thought we needed to recognize Steve tonight. Dr. Bill actually grew up with Steve, and I'm going to let him speak. But for the fire department, we just want to honor and thank Steve for his service to the citizens of Ware County.
Thank you, Chief.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm a little biased because Steve and I have been best friends since my earliest memory. And I guess it was about age 3. I don't remember meeting him. I don't remember becoming friends with him. We just always were. And he's been one of my greatest inspirations because Steve's had to overcome tremendous physical difficulties with a condition he has. And I know growing up, we always played public safety. And he was fire, and I was EMS. And Sharon was involved too. But Steve, when you say Steve gave it his all, Steve gave it his all. If I tell you I'm going to give you my all, it may be 75, 80%, but to do what Steve did, he gave 100%. And he was driven by passion. And he's been a great blessing to all of us. We appreciate his service to EMS and to fire. And most of all, the inspiration he's been for me in particular. And he came from a great family. Miss Laverne's like a second mother to me. And I stayed with him so much growing up. But he's got a great wife. He had wonderful parents. Sister, we won't talk about the brother-in-law at all. But honestly, Steve has been truly the most inspirational figure in my life. And he does his ministry to this day. Sends me scriptures every day, 7 days a week, early in the morning. And I told him if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't read the Bible every day, I can assure you.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's done a variety of things in the ministry. And my mother liked to jostle with him, and she asked him one day if he was still preaching, and he said, "Yes, ma'am, I still got my nursing home ministry." And Mom said, the reason you preach at the nursing home is they can't run from you. But we still want you around now. You're not going to go away on us, but it's very much my honor to recognize you, brother, for what you've done. God bless you always.
Okay.
Let's go down and shake his hand.
Thank you all.
I think we need to go shake his hand.
Yeah. Tell him to come.
Thank you, Steve. And what we've done, we got to help us, we have all we got. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Love you, brother. You did a great job. We'll see you around, okay? Thank you.
You could, yeah. I'm trying to, Tess has it with her.
Take a picture first.
Where's that proclamation?
Tess has got it.
Oh, she's
Yeah, she has it. She's getting it.
What is he to?
That's all, thank you very much.
Employee of the month. Edmure. Edmar. Okay. Well, let's move on. Now we got, employee of the month. Teresa, would you come up?
The good stuff going, right?
Yeah.
So it's my pleasure to recognize Ms. Heather Erdmeyer as Employee of the Month for April 2024. Heather began her career with Ware County in 2002, where she was hired as a victim advocate and then solicitor Mike Devane's office. She transferred to Public Works on August 6, 2007, where she currently serves as the office manager. Heather was nominated because she is the glue that keeps the office going. She answers calls, keeps a daily call record, takes messages, tracks employee time and attendance, keeps a daily activity log for each Public Works employee, completes payroll for the department, and helps with ordering supplies. If the department director is the head of the office, Heather is the heart. She helps keep office operations flowing smoothly and efficiently, assisting both department employees and various citizens and vendors with any question or need that may arise. In a given day, she can be tasked with an array of duties, and she handles them all while maintaining a positive attitude and friendly smile. She's been a tremendous asset to the department and in turn to Ware County. So if you would all help me to congratulate Ms. Heather Erdmeyer as Ware County's Employee of the Month for April 2024.
Congratulations, Heather.
Congratulations.
Okay, let's move on. Approve the meeting minutes for March of 24.
Mr. Chairman, the called meeting for March the 25th, 2024 is not complete yet. We'll have that at the next meeting, so it's
Okay.
just the first three.
So we're just gonna do the work session, the public hearing, and the regular
Regular meeting.
meeting for March?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, I hear a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the work session, public hearing, regular meeting minutes on March the 11th, 2024.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Let's vote on it. Mr. Burson?
Aye.
Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Henry? Aye. Chair votes aye. Okay. Now, on the agenda items, the resolution for 2024-08, special election to fill vacancy for District 4. Now, we went over that in the work session. Does everybody, I hear a motion that we move to accept that?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we, accept resolution 2024-08 for the special election to be fill the vacancy of District 4.
Okay, got a motion, have a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, let's vote
Mr.
on it.
Chairman, I'd like to table that until we do a little bit further, investigation on what that law actually states on it.
On that
Yes, sir.
special election?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You want to
I'd like
table
to
it?
table it to the next meeting, if we can.
Can we do, have we got, how much time have we got, Scott?
I'll
November
defer
5th.
to the county
I
attorney.
think that'll be fine. We
Yeah.
can
We got
take a
time?
motion,
Okay.
we've got a motion to table on the floor, so
Yeah.
we would just need
So-
a second for the purpose of discussion.
I'll second that.
Okay. But now.
Okay, I need to withdraw my
He'll
motion.
have to withdraw his
I-
motion.
I'm-
Okay.
Mr.
Okay.
Chairman, I withdraw my motion
Okay.
on resolution 2024-08.
Okay,
special election.
he's withdrawn that motion. Now we got a motion to table it. We got a second?
Second.
We got a second, okay.
So under discussion, why is the motion to table it?
That's what I want to go into the discussion.
We have a law in the Ware County Code Book that was adopted in 1963, and it's different from what I have read in what's in this agenda.
Okay,
So I just wanna make sure which one's right and not.
okay,
That way we do the right thing.
okay.
Mr.
Do you know about it?
Nobody,
Jerry?
back, Madam Attorney. if
We
you-
certainly want all questions answered, and I am certainly happy to sit down with any commissioners that have any questions, and so, that'll be fine. We can sit down and go over everything, and of course, if there's anything we're missing, we're glad to take a look at it, or if there's any explanation needed, we're also happy to do that, so that'll be fine.
And I got one question on this. This is the special election is to take place when, in November?
Yeah, we got plenty of time.
So how exactly are we gonna do that on one ballot when that is the voting time for us to vote? I mean,
So, as I mentioned earlier, and I'll go through it a little bit if you like now, or we can, we can also go through it later, but, state law, the Georgia Code provides for how to fill a commissioner vacancy unless otherwise provided by local law, which you all do. You have something in your local ordinance that says how to fill a commissioner vacancy. And it's to be filled, in accordance with how the clerk of court vacant positions are filled. So then you have to revert back to state law to look at the clerk of court statutory provisions. And then there's certain requirements about timing. If there's over 180 days left in a term, under 180 days left, how the judge of the probate court appoints an interim, which is of course how we got Commissioner Hendricks, and then how the position is formally filled. So that should all be outlined in that memo that's in front of you guys. But at the same time, we certainly are glad to, look and make sure we, of course, have no other goal except to get it exactly right. And so glad to answer any questions and look at any other documentation that we think is pertinent.
Okay.
But to answer Commissioner Lucas's question, I apologize if I didn't clearly. We have in other counties had situations where you have during the same election, you have the general election to fill the next full 4-year term, but then you also have the special election to fill the remainder of the vacant term. So that is, it does seem illogical. I understand to have a special election to fill the remainder of a 2-month term, but it is not it's not unheard of, and it's happened before during, the course of, not in Ware County, but in one of our other counties, we did have that situation arise. It's timing. Had the position been vacated in August, a special election wouldn't be required. But like I said, I'm certainly glad to sit down and answer any questions and look at any other pertinent information we think we have. Happy to do that.
And in a special election, you still have to follow the same qualification, have to pay the fees, you have to do, and for somebody to do that for 7 weeks and a day, I don't see no, that's what I'm looking at, paying the qualification fees to fill 7 weeks and a day.
Also in the one we have here, you can't do it before 120 days and you have 365 days to do it. You see what, so you're gonna fall in to where you really don't have to do it because you don't even get to them 365. But whoever wants it done, that's fine, but I just seen another, and I don't have it in front of me right now or I'd read it to you, on our Ware County, right out of our Ware County book.
Okay.
But I'll get copies for all y'all to see and look at.
So,
Appreciate it.
as far as the time constraints that we'll be under, if we wait till the next meeting, would that impact that in at all?
I'll be honest, I didn't look at it because I didn't anticipate that this would be an issue, but right offhand, I'm not aware of any time constraints as far as, there's only certain, the timing issue comes because there are only certain dates that a special election can be held, and I mentioned those earlier, there are certain dates in even years, there's certain dates in odd years. So if, just based on recollection, in even years, we have the date in May still remaining, but we also have the date in November. And we just, timing-wise, won't have enough time to get everything done and get it on the May ballot, but we can get it on the November ballot.
Okay.
Is there anything that states that you have to do it
I believe, yes. I got a whole memo in the book.
before the 365 days?
We can go back, again, I mean, we can do this in a public meeting if y'all like, I'll read the whole memo, but it does say, yes. I believe the answer to that is yes.
Okay. So we got a motion and a second to table it
Till the next meeting.
till the next meeting. Any more discussion on that table? No, let's vote on it. Mr. Burson?
Aye.
Mr. Pope? Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Hendrick?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. All right. Okay, your resolution for 2024-09 Georgia Initiative for Community Housing.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we accept and adopt the Georgia I'm sitting here looking at the wrong.
The housing.
I done lost my place.
Go back, see what.
The GITCH, the GICH. I'm lost my place in my book here. I make a motion that we accept what Mr. Taft has got up here and spoke to us about, the GITCH. I believe it'd be a good thing for Ware County moving forward, especially when we got somebody like Jason Rubenbauer doing what he's doing for Ware County.
I'll second.
I think it's,
The motion includes funding
The $5,000
per year.
per year for 3 years.
Thank you.
you gonna second it?
Second.
You got a second?
I think.
All right. Support for the joint application with the city of Waycross. That's what it's for. Participation in the Georgia Initiative for Community Housing. Okay, so we got a motion and a second. Any discussion on it? All right, let's vote on it. Mr. Burson?
Aye.
Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Hendrick? Aye. Chair votes aye. Okay. Okay, the Georgia Public Library Capital Outlay Grant Program, local match requirement.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion on that,
Okay,
that we,
let's see, let's find it right here. Okay, board, your
See.
yeah. Okay. Go ahead and make it.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that, Ware County Commission come up with the local match on the, for the Georgia Public Library Capital Outlay Grant Program. I believe right now, cause the amount, we're not showing it, right, Scott?
That's correct, yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
That we just come up with the match.
Okay,
I'll second.
we got a second. We got a motion and a second. Any discussion on it?
And so we're instructing the county manager to, seek the grant, the paperwork for the grant.
I think they all pretty much got the paperwork done for the grant.
They
It's
done
just
done
You
that.
take some steps for the county commission,
Yeah,
follow those steps.
yeah. To get the local match, that's the main thing, getting the local match right now.
Okay.
Now, we was told too about that, getting that approved for that we would get that.
That, what you've already
money
invested,
reimbursed.
yes, sir.
Right,
Is that what, you remember, Leonard, we said we'd get that
right, for the roof
reimbursement?
and the boiler.
Yeah,
As long as they include that.
if we can get that. Okay. All right,
Hold up a minute now, you say if we can get that?
No,
Because-
sir, what I'm saying is
I mean,
the local match, as long as we can allow the roofing and the chiller.
Okay, but now we know the boiler, he
Yeah, we
said
got the
sign
boiler.
off on that, but the
Yeah.
roofing right now, he doesn't
we
really
don't
know.
know about that.
Yeah.
But
And
hopefully,
I'll touch base with him tomorrow to verify that.
okay, that's why I was saying we'll just provide the local match and I guess being optimistic that we will get the reimbursement
Right.
for the roofing also.
Yeah, I
mean,
think
And get as much credit as we can
Right.
for our match,
Yeah,
but not contingent upon getting any of it.
Right,
okay.
Even if we don't get it, we still. but
that's
we
what
still
I'm
gonna
saying.
make
We're
it.
gonna fund it.
I don't want it to be tied to
That's
it,
right.
but hopefully we'll get it, Tim, I hope so. You know, if not, you can just float us donations, stuff like that, you know, for it.
All right. Any more discussion on it? Not, let's vote on it. Mr. Burson?
Aye.
Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Henry?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. Okay, bid award for right-of-way mowing. We had one bid, and the same guy, and he's only went up, like, what, $6,000
$6,000.
increase?
Yes, sir.
He's doing a good job, so. I hear a motion that we accept the bid.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we accept the bid, but I would like to include the
Back to
additional,
right-of-way.
the additional K&A Mowing LLC of $179,000 for the overgrowth on the edge of right-of-way
For one time.
for one
Cut
time.
that one time, okay.
And what's the total on your motion?
$372,320.
Okay. I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion on it? Okay, let's bid on it. Mr. Burson?
Aye.
Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Henry?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. Comprehensive Transportation Plan Consulting Professional Service Contract. Okay, we heard a lot about that. I hear a motion that we accept it.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Okay, got a motion.
I'll second.
Got a second.
Under
Any
discussion,
discussion?
what's the cost of the contract?
$300,000.
300.
That's the max cost. Is that right, Mr. County Manager?
Yes, sir.
$300,000 max cost.
300,000.
Now, that's
for all of it.
yeah, the
That's
250 for the study, but then
The
the other
extra
50 was
50.
for the
bypass.
bypass.
Bypass,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you've got an individual corridor study, which is kind of a extra to that. And that, actually, they would have to do some of the data collection to be able to work on that aspect of it, but it includes that too.
Okay.
And that
Which
would,
is what we were told from DOT that, to get their attention, if the community, city and county wants to pursue that perimeter road, first thing you have to do is come up with a corridor study first from a professional. So,
If we ever get one, we're gonna have to
yes, sir.
start it. Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Let's vote on it. Mr. Burson?
Aye.
Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
aye.
Mr. Henry?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Okay. Dirt road paving, engineering proposal for statewide engineering. Okay, we had
And you,
another bid come in on that.
yes, sir, from, Roberts Civil Engineering, for those same 4 roads, and I think there was some interest in replacing those or.
Okay. I hear a motion that we, accept the, what's the name of it?
Robert's Engineering.
Roberts Engineering.
Roberts Engineering.
Yes, sir.
Everybody looked at it? Are y'all agreeable with Roberts?
Yes.
Chairman, I move that we accept the proposal from Roberts Engineering for the engineering and design paving bid package for Wadley Road, Slash Pine Road, Banks Lane, and Elmer Thrift Road.
Okay, got
I'll second that.
a motion and a second.
The lump sum
Okay, any
is
discussion?
$124,900.
Okay. Any discussion? No, let's vote on it. Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Pope? Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Hendricks? Aye. Chair votes aye. Okay. The dirt road paving engineering proposal for Hostetler and Associate. Gee, that's on the other roads.
Mr. Chair, I move that we move forward with the dirt road paving engineering proposal by Hofstadler and Associates for Pascal Road, McDonald Road, Cornelius Road, and Griffin Road.
Okay.
But I would also like to have a caveat in there that those filtration things be replaced before we pave McDonald Road.
Yeah.
Those weather.
Well, it'll be
pipes.
put in there to put those pipes in.
Those cement pipes,
Yes, sir.
48-inch.
Right,
Yeah, we're gonna
moving
put
them up
them
to 48
Right.
inch. Because I don't want to pave it before we do that.
Exactly.
He'll put them
And
in.
they have already been delivered out there.
Okay, they're already out there?
They're sitting there.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, they on the job. Any discussion? No, let's
One more
Vote.
thing, Mr. Chairman. I think at our last meeting, Mr. County Manager, we gave Brandon the authority to, I believe, go out there and speak to the owner of that property one more time, and then we were gonna start our process. Is that correct?
Which?
On
one?
Pascal?
On Pascal, yes, sir. But if you're paving it,
if you're paving it.
it's all gonna be included in anyway, because you're probably gonna have to have, well, I'm pretty sure you're gonna have to have right of way all the way
Yeah.
through.
So we're gonna, okay,
Yeah, it'll be on the,
Yeah.
it'll be on the engineer's hand now.
Hofstadter
just
will
move.
take care of all that.
let's move forward with it.
All right, we got a motion and a second.
Can you tell me who seconded? I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Who seconded?
I made a motion.
Yeah.
Mr. Burris second.
Okay.
Second.
No,
Or
I
second.
couldn't remember.
You seconded?
I guess I'll second it.
Okay. All right, I got a motion and a second. Okay, any more discussion? If not, let's vote on it. Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
That's Hendrick? Aye. Chair votes aye. Okay. Now, purchase request for a brush truck for fire and rescue. Let's go with it first and then or we won't do the ambulance too?
Yes, sir.
We can add them all together, okay, and the ambulance, so we know what that is, we done talked on it.
Mr. Chair,
Okay,
I move that we move forward with the purchase request on the brush truck for fire and rescue, and also the ambulance
The new
that's
ambulance.
completely, has all the equipment on it.
okay, got a motion, how about a second?
I'll second.
You got a second. Any discussion on it?
What's that total amount for both
Can,
of those?
yeah, can a motion
The
give
brush
them out?
truck, $129,389.16. And on the ambulance, it's $383,587.48, and that's the whole package.
And the funds would come from ARPA
ARPA.
account.
And,
Right.
yeah,
Well, I
Do
think, also, we stated too that on the, especially on the ambulance, with it being maybe 2 years or more before we can get it, that we could maybe have splash monies at that time and have the option for something maybe we
Right.
need it this time right here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Because it's no use in us having a time in our hands with the ARPA money for that, and we know it's gonna be 2 years
2
at
years
least
before
before
we
we get it.
okay. All right. Any more discussion on it? If not, let's vote on it. Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Hendricks?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay,
Chairman Thrift, on the next 2 items, I don't know if y'all wanted to table those or not. If you want to just table the one on the I, which is the drainage easement,
Yeah.
and the other one's for reappointments.
okay, let's table both of those. I and J, we're doing together, we'll just table them. Can I get a motion to table I and J?
So moved.
So moved.
Okay, got a motion
Second.
and a second. Okay. Let's, vote on it. Mr. Burson?
Aye.
Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Henry? Aye. Chair votes aye. Okay. Commission comment. Y'all got anything?
From where I sit here in this chair, we made some good decisions at this meeting, particularly with the library and, Ms. Pegler. It's just good that we've got this stuff done.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Any more?
I'd just like to ditto what Commissioner Pope has said, and, you know, a lot of times we, in government, and start looking at these big numbers we throwing out, but this is a big county, it takes a lot of money to run this county. But we're trying to be good stewards of the taxpayers' money, and as I said, like with the library over there, I'm glad that we were able to catch that grant before it got away from us to make the improvements over there, and I hope this is the time that we can maybe kind of address all the issues that people may have, or things that they want to see over at the library, and we got a new director, I think, is doing a good job in trying to get a good handle on everything, along with her local board, and then we have the regional board, so I think all of us working together, we can get all this kind of worked out.
Right. Okay. Any more? Okay. I hear a motion that we adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned.